NBC News has learned the first Israeli hostages, 3 women, have just been released by Hamas after nearly 16 months in captivity. The Israeli military says the hostages were handed over to the Red Cross just moments ago. Their freedom coming as part of a ceasefire deal between Israel and Hamas that went into effect this morning after a brief delay. Today's news marks the beginning of the first of 3 phases of the ceasefire deal, with each phase set to last several weeks. With phase 1 now underway, hostages are set to be released every 7 days until 33 have been freed, though it remains unclear right now if all of them are alive. For their part, the Israeli government will release dozens of Palestinian prisoners and send fresh aid into Gaza, with the fighting there now on hold. NBC's chief foreign correspondent Richard Engel is in Tel Aviv following this closely with us. Richard, what more can you tell us about this release of those 3 hostages?
So hopefully you can hear me. There is a lot of music here. There are celebrations going on here in Tel Aviv in what is called Hostage Square now. Yes, we can confirm from the Israeli military, from our sources in Gaza, that this transfer took place. It took place in Gaza City. There was a strong contingent of Hamas militants. They arrived masked. They arrived armed. They arrived in vehicles. Then they handed over to the Red Crescent those 3 female hostages, Romi Gonen, Doron Steinbecher, and Emily Damari. They were handed over to the Red Cross. The Red Cross then taking them to the Israeli military. They were greeted once inside Israel by their mothers, and then they will be flown. This process is underway right now to Tel Aviv, where they will receive medical treatment. So we can confirm that the process is still underway, but that they are now inside Israeli territory. So the first hostage transfer has been successful of this long process.
And, of course, long awaited for those mothers greeting the 3 young women ranging in age from 24 to 31. Do we know anything at this early stage, Richard, about the health of the 3 hostages who are now free?
They were all walking. We didn't get very many images of them. There had been some expectation that at least one of these young women would be potentially in a wheelchair. All of them seemed to be, at least at a first glance, to be in relatively good condition. Romi Gonin, as you mentioned, 24 years old. We have spoken over the process over this last 15 months with her family, with her mother. Her mother was there, Mirav, at the site to receive her once they crossed into Israel. She was kidnapped from the Nova Music Festival. She had been shot during her kidnapping, so she will clearly need medical condition. All of them will need medical condition. That's why they're being brought to a hospital here. The Israeli military has put both medical personnel on standby as well as psychological support. Doron Steinbecher from Kfar Aza, which is a kibbutz right on the border with Gaza. She was kidnapped from her home. She's a 31-year-old veterinary nurse known in her community as someone who always worked with animals, loved animals. And then Emily Damari, also kidnapped from her home in Kfar Aza, a 28-year-old described as a very popular member of the community, someone who loved barbecues, organizing social events, and now with their mothers on their way to medical treatment here in Tel Aviv.